Hi, welcome to Pauline Interviews. Today I have a very fascinating topic. It's called sound healing, and I'm interviewing a very interesting, I want to say a Renaissance man, Mario Messina. Mario, thanks so much for helping me out with this for my program, Pauline Interviews. Before we get started, I always like to establish the credentials of the person I'm interviewing. So could you tell people that are watching your background?
Yes, I started college and high school with medical training. In high school I was taking a nursing course, 360 hours. In college I was a pre-med student. Then later on went to naturopathic school for 1 year. And then later on I catch up with becoming a massage therapist. From there I learned sound healing, hypnosis, many other modalities like sacral and bone work and other forms of healing with crystals and sound, etc.
I mean, that's amazing. Usually somebody will go to medical school and they'll become a heart surgeon, or they'll go and become a dentist, or they'll become a naturopath. It seems like you were searching all the time. What was your modality, or were you just fascinated by all these different healing?
I was fascinated by all of them, and my personal belief is that nothing is heal all for everybody. I think a healer has to have a whole array of different healing modalities in order to accommodate each individual client.
And that makes a lot of sense, because some things help one person and something will help another person. But also, how I look at it is that we're body, mind, and spirit. So maybe the medical takes care of the body, but we need the alternative healers to do the whole person. So I would think that even me as a person would want to check out different healing modalities to work as a unison.
Correct.
Yeah, so that would be a twofold thing.
Yes, yes. Unfortunately, sometimes in the modern medical world is focused in a particular area, whether it's your stomach ache and that's all we do, and we don't look at any other things that could cause that stomach ache. It could be emotional, it could be mental. So there are all the other two realms that affect the body.
We have more than one body. The only body we see, unless we're psychic, is the physical. We don't see the energy bodies. But we're not going to, well, this is kind of an energy work, sound healing. I was mentioning to you, I did a little research, but don't know that much, and I want to learn from you. But the cells actually vibrate. Every little cell in your body vibrates, and it has its own tune or its own sound. Could you explain that?
Yes, well, to start with, we only are solidified light, as you know.
Could you explain that?
Yes.
I didn't know that.
We are really electrons that are vibrating, and they have a slowdown in speed, making you have what you have a physical solid form. If your atoms and molecules started vibrating faster and faster, you will become lighter and lighter and eventually become just energy.
Consciousness.
Yes, and consciousness. So you really solidify energy, that's all you are. So even Einstein says, matter is energy, and energy can convert to matter.
Yes.
And that's what that we are.
Right.
We are energy converted into matter, and eventually we'll go back to energy.
Right, because what he said was matter can neither be created nor destroyed.
Correct.
Right.
So in that sense, to sound is the first ones of the energies of the universe. Even in our own Bible says that God said, "Let it be light." So sound came before light.
And sound vibrates faster than light.
Well,
or does it?
No. It's a slower, but it has a much more subtle energies that change matter, and as well as space and time.
And sound vibrates at different vibrations. That's why in the piano, the keys, we have the low vibration, we go up high, and then we can get so high that we can't hear it, but
Correct.
Dogs can hear it.
Correct. Our range on our senses is very, very minimal in comparison to the animal world. Our eyes are very poor, and our hearing is very poor, and our olfactory is very poor, and even our taste is very poor.
Boy, I thought I'd come out of this interview feeling good, and I'm feeling bad already.
Yeah, when we compare ourselves to
Yeah.
other animals and their capabilities, including sharks who have a sixth sense to sense the vibrations and pulsations of your heart. underwater.
Sharks?
Yes, they have it on their upper nose
Wow.
of their head. So even animals, some animals have evolved a lot much more in those extra senses that we don't pay attention to.
Now, the rate of vibration, does that have anything to do with healing? Like, do our cells vibrate at a certain vibration?
Yes, we have, for example, tuning forks that are set up for different organs of the body, so it will reset the organ to the proper vibration. So when it's sick or ill, it vibrates at a different rate.
And how does the illness change your vibration in your body?
It will slow it down, or it will speed it up, or it will cause constant destruction of the cellular matter in that particular area of the body or organ.
Is it because it creates an emotion? Like, for an example, I have a hard time with loud music. I mean, actually, I feel physically ill when I hear loud music. Now, I don't think that happens to everybody. So is just my response emotionally to that sound, or does the sound really disrupt it to your heartbeat?
Well, I think what you have to determine is that the song itself, if it's played at a low tone or a low volume, does it still affect you? If it doesn't affect you, then it is volume what affects you,
Right.
and not the, the particular sound.
Okay, it's the volume.
Correct, but people have a vibration that goes with a particular song. Well, for example, today you like this particular song, and 10 years later you can stand it.
Oh,
Means your vibrations have changed, and that song does not do the same thing that it did emotionally on you.
you know, I believe you, but with me it's different because I love the same songs I loved in my 20s. I still resonate with them. Like I'm
Because you
very
have an
sensitive.
emotional and a mental image that you have placed on yourself. So when it has created what is called a trigger in your body. So when you hear the song, it causes certain emotional reaction,
Yes.
which is a study, of course, in neuro-linguistic programming. It's called a trigger.
So that's another reason why sound is so healing, because it creates an emotional response.
Correct.
Oh, that's interesting.
So if we started first with the saying of the Bible, and then you look at primitive cultures that sang, and shamans and people went into trances while they were dancing and chanting.
Yes.
So it has an enchanting and vibrational way to get humans to elevate their spirit and their mind and their emotions. So
Raise your also your 4 vibrations of your brain, like the beta, alpha, and put you in an alpha state, which is more relaxing.
yes,
So,
there are even tuning forks that have all the different levels of the brain, and you can tune those, and it will bring down your brain to that vibration.
I was reading a little bit about the early people to use energy or sound for healing. Remember the Aborigines? Back 40,000 years, and they used something called a didgeridoo.
Correct.
Yeah.
Those were the Australians and the Australian Aborigines, but across every culture they had a form of sound. There are even stories of Sherpas that have helped climbers, and a Sherpa who got hurt, and then all the other Sherpas will surround the person ill or hurt, and they will chant all night. And when they took him back to camp, it was almost healed. He had no problem.
I can see this would get almost an hour interview, but I think what we'll do is, now that we've given people kind of an introduction to the sound healing, we'll come back in part 2 and you'll do some demonstrations. Does that sound good? Before we go, is there anything else you want to add to that? Because we can talk about it while we're demonstrating, but...
No, it's just essentially we are adjust to sounds, and we see it in music. We see it on our voices. Some voices we don't like,
Yes.
voices that we like,
Yes.
and so because it modulates with our present vibration.
That's right. Some voices are what we call strident. They're like, oh my gosh.
Right.
And others are very pleasant.
Yes.
That's true. I forgot about that.
So we have those forms of sound. So sound is constantly around us.
Yes.
And so whether we acknowledge it or we know that it affects us in a certain way, it's always present.
I just wanted to end with this because I just had a thought while we were talking. Remember Close Encounters of the Third Kind?
Yes.
They communicated with sound. They did musical notes, and that's how they communicated.
Correct, because also are mathematical.
Oh, well, see, I was going to say, I thought they would communicate with mathematics, but that's because they're connected.
Correct, that's why music
Fascinating.
is mathematical.
That's right, it
Yes.
is. Well, thanks, Mario. It's been interesting. Don't go away.
Okay.
We're going to come back with part 2. Mario is going to actually demonstrate some of these sound instruments that he has. Thanks for watching Pauline Interviews.